everybody. Welcome to Christ Church Cathedral this evening. And I want to thank you for being here tonight. Oh, there we go. Thank you for being here this evening for Concert for the Padre. My name is Chris. I'm the Dean of the Diocese of New Westminster and the Rector here at the Cathedral. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all here this evening. This cathedral is also the regimental church of the British Columbia Regiment, which is the oldest regiment in British Columbia. They are 140 years old right now, 5 years older than the cathedral. And it is also the regimental kirk of the Seaforth Highlanders. They've not been here as long as the BCRs, but we still love them just as much. This evening, we're having some wonderful music. We've got the 15th Field Artillery Regiment Band. They talked to me about putting their equivalent of colors up, but I'd have to talk to a structural engineer before we hung those suckers up there, and I don't think it'll happen. For those of you that don't know, their colors are their guns. And we also have the Irish pipes and drums of the British Columbia Regiment with us tonight. So it's my pleasure to have them, to have music, and also to do it for a good purpose. And before I ramble on any longer, I'm going to turn it over to our official MC tonight, Duncan Miller. He's the guy in the kilt next to me, over here. And Duncan is a former national champion drummer through SFU, and he'll kind of take us through a bit of the histories of the bands and other things. Duncan.
Great. Thank you very much. Hello. Thank you for coming. Isn't this a wonderful building, and the sound of the band in here, the wood, you know, it does marvelous things for brass and bagpipes, both. We're going to talk more about both of these bands, but we'll begin with the Irish band. They are playing the Great Highland Bagpipe, which is a 4-reeded instrument. It has 3 reeds in drones, and then it has another reed in the chanter, which is a double-bladed reed, which takes an awful lot of force to get to make a tone. And it's meant to be able to be played perpetually, of course, with the bag, but everyone's lungs are a different size, and so it doesn't actually match the tempo. You can't breathe in time to the tune. So your mental faculties have to be sharp, and it helps that Scottish and Irish music has lots of call and answer. You'll hear it throughout all the tunes played tonight. The Irish band will play a set of marches, which is all downbeat, a set of polkas, which is very much upbeat, and then they will play some jigs, which are heavily triplet feel, and some reels and some slow and fast things as well. And you'll notice through every tune there is a call and answer pattern. Sometimes it's within 1 bar, and sometimes it's over 2 bars, but you can't miss it. And that's what makes brand new bagpipe music, Scottish, Irish, and other, sound similar to old bagpipe music. It's very related, and that means people can jam together. That's what it's for, is to be able to easily be able to pick up what's going on and enjoy the music and maybe even play it if you can play. So the band is very old. It's 113 years old. One great thing about these types of events is these institutions are older than all of us. Even the band, of course, this building is the oldest surviving building in Vancouver, which has its own very interesting history. You can read about that. The band of the 15th Field Regiment that we heard play O Canada there, of course, this dates back to before BC was even here. So there's a lot of history, a lot of tradition, and you're going to hear from them some contemporary pieces that you know, and some pieces that have been selected specifically for this type of setting. Please do applaud the band after they play each set. They are all volunteer members and all have busy lives, but a lot of passion for this music. And tonight is an important event to support people who have served, and we thank you so much for coming here and this worthy cause, and the bands appreciate your energy and presence, and this place, what a treat to hear music in here. I don't know, the bagpipe is a finicky instrument and it has to be tuned. Otherwise, it doesn't sound quite as good. Are we ready for the pipe band? Okay. Well, without any further ado, I'm going to bring on the Irish pipe band. Thank you.
are now going to feature our drum corps for a short salute. So pipers in the back, our drummers up front. for our set, but we'll be back a little bit later in the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks. The band there was led by Pipe Major Andrew Hayes, wearing the red sash and talking without a microphone very well. His pipe sergeant, he was the pipe major. His pipe sergeant was Scott Wood. The lead drummer of that band is Cameron Reed. And the drum major, the fellow that helped them out at the end there, Chris Hoskin. A lot of these players here play in some of the top pipe bands in the world and go to the World Pipe Band Championships and compete and have won that numerous times, including Andrew, the pipe major. And you can hear their set there is very creative, and they're helping to keep this alive here, and some wonderful tunes. I hope you heard the call and answer that I was mentioning earlier. It's unmistakable. I would like to bring Padre Chris back up here again now, and he's going to introduce some very important people we have here and speak about this evening a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Duncan. So as all of you can see, the name of tonight is called Concert for the Padre, but it's not really for me. This concert here that these men and women have volunteered their time to put on for all of you is to support our work with the men and the women who serve. There's a lot that goes on to supporting those who've offered their time and their lives to serve this country. And so your generous support this evening will help us to do what we do. We bring food We supplement income in times of trouble. In the past, I've sent people on flights to go visit sick or dying relatives. In Alberta, I help them fix trucks. Here it's Teslas. There's a lot. What can I say? There's a lot. You can laugh at this stuff too. It's not that serious. But your generosity this evening will help us to help those who've offered their lives to serve all of us. And I can think of no greater gift that one can give is service. So this concert is free, and that freedom does that free concert allows each of us to give a tax-deductible gift to support this ministry. An old mentor of mine once told me, and he was a good fundraiser, he said, Chris, when it comes to fundraising around charitable donations like the church, he said, the government's going to take our money. He said, but we can choose to give it somewhere instead to help those areas that we find important. So again, your gifts tonight are 100% tax deductible. You can give through e-transfer. There's a debit machine in the back. You can leave currency, checks. We'll even take napkins with the appropriate information on the back. But please, if you have it within you and you have the means, help us help these women and men who've given everything. One of the things I'd like to do tonight is there's a number of dignitaries with us tonight, or people who've also served and in various capacities. And the trouble when you try to recognize a few people is you tend to forget somebody, and then that puts you into a deep quandary. So hopefully I've not forgotten anyone, but let me run down the list of people who are here tonight that I'd like you just to stand and be acknowledged. I have the Reverend Paul Richards. He is the Padre for the Seaforth Highlanders Association. Paul, thank you. I have Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Don Foster from the 15th Field. I have Honorary Colonel Fareed Rohani of the British Columbia Regiment. He's back there. I have Lieutenant Colonel Retired James Barrett, who is the President of the BCR Association. James. I have Ted Hawthorne, who is the Secretary for the British Columbia Regiment Association. Ted. I have Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Bill Diamond, who in addition to being with the British Columbia Regiment, also has the illustrious title of Band Governor. Bill is in the back there. And I'd like to say it's through Bill's efforts. Bill actually has a foot with both of these bands tonight, and it's been Bill's hustle that has helped us put this on last year for the first time, this year making it a tradition. But thank you, Bill, for all of your efforts. And last but not least, thank you. And last but not least, I want to invite up, maybe to say a few words, Lieutenant Colonel Vince Verk. He is the CO of the British Columbia Regiment. And he's the man that motivates the men and women in the regiment. He teaches them, he cares for them, he makes sure that they'll come home to you all. So Colonel Verk, if you want to just say a few words.
First of all, everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. This church holds a very significant connection with the regiment, and I would say with the community of Vancouver and how the military ties together. As you've heard, I command the oldest regiment in the province, and this is one of the oldest churches. Some of the founding members of this church were founding members of the regiment and of the 7th Battalion that we perpetuate. And because of that history that has come together, that is sort of the foundation of where Vancouver had begun, that history is housed in the corner over here. And I invite all of you at some point tonight to go in and see the colors. These are the colors of the soldiers that had served during World War I that were in Europe. And those colors flew over there, and they're now held here in a place of honor within this church. And we feel immense pride that this church has chosen to be able to be holding that history for us. These bands that you see behind you are a representation of that history. And they are a connection not only of that history, but of your soldiers of today. So what you see now is the same as back then, is they were your neighbors, they were your coworkers, they were people you went to school with, were the soldiers that served Canada throughout its history and continues to do that today. So today, my soldiers are your neighbors. They are the ones you went to school with, and they are your coworkers. They are Canadians, and they volunteer, and they're citizen soldiers. And you may not see soldiers where you all the time, but we are there when you need you. We are needed, including in domestic operations. Many of them have served to fight on the forest fires or the floods that have occurred recently here in BC. Many of them are deploying overseas. So there's a lot going on. They do it volunteer. In British Columbia, majority of the soldiers are all reservists, so they all have another career, much like all the members of the bands. So the support that Chris and the community and all of the association members that here are representative you can't quantify it, how important it is to those members, the spiritual and emotional support. So I thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to now hear from the band of the 15th Field Regiment. And you can see in your program they've got quite a number of great pieces for you here. They are led by the band director, Lieutenant Eric Wong. And they will assemble behind me, and you will hear again in this beautiful room this fantastic band. I will mention they are playing quite frequently, including at the Rugby Sevens, which is coming up, and the Ladner Band Festival, and many other great engagements where you can go and support them and show them that you care for their great music and this great honor. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Please help me welcome our Director of Music, Lieutenant Eric Wong.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you all for being here this evening. That was, for those of you who don't know, that was the Candide Overture by Leonard Bernstein. A very fun piece for us to play. I think the band really enjoys it. Please give another hand to our bandmaster, Warrant Officer Sumpton, who led Strike Up the Band. So we're very pleased to be here tonight, and what a great place for us to be in. So for those of you who come here regularly to this place here, what a wonderful, wonderful place it is. So we're really honored to be here in Christ Church Cathedral. And we thought, well, let's play some really appropriate music for this evening. So this is the American composer Claude T. Smith, who wrote many pieces as the staff arranger for the Air Force band, the Air Force in the United States. And one of them was this beautiful arrangement of the hymn, God of Our Fathers. Here we go. So we are very pleased to present good music for you, but we know that that's not the only reason why we're here. We're here to fundraise, so thank you all for being here and being a part of that, participating in that, because we know that through the Padre, there's a lot of good work that's being done for our soldiers. We, of course, we here are all part of the reserves. We have a member who's in the regular force here as well, but you know, we know that there are a lot of members who go through a lot of tough times and families who are in need. So thank you for your support and being a part of this to help us. Thank you for being here tonight. We want to continue on with a piece that I suppose is fitting of that, another wonderful piece for a venue like this. This is American composer Frank Ticelli, who writes some really beautiful, we would call kind of tone poems, just taking you on a really nice atmosphere with the kind of pieces that he arranges. And this is his arrangement of Amazing Grace, and I'd like to welcome up to the stand Bombardier Gary C. Let's give a hand to Bombardier C. I am very privileged to be the director of this fine group here, and Bombardier C and Warrant Officer Sumner are just two of the examples of the amazing musicians that we have here. Many of them who have gone through the School of Music, either through UBC or other places, and many of them who have gone on to musical careers, perhaps as teachers, like I am, like he is, like she is. In fact, all three of us teach in the Surrey School District. But many who also have other walks of life. But the thing that we have in common is that those of us who have all joined, we are all reservists. We are all members of the Canadian Armed Forces. Most of us are in the trade of musician, right? But we know that we do what we need to do to be trained for the duty that we need to carry out. So, a couple weeks ago, some of us did our first aid training, and then in April, a number of us are going to go for our annual rifle range shoot. And in a few weeks from now, we're all going to do our physical fitness test, right? So these are things that we need to do to make sure that we are active and ready to go. So we do a lot of praise, we do a lot of serious music, but now we want to do something that's a little bit more fun for you. Next week, we're actually going to play as you heard from Duncan earlier, that we are playing at the Rugby Sevens next week, just a few blocks down the road at BC Place. So here's something a little bit more lighthearted. It's going to feature a number of people in the band. Memories of Henry Mancini. See how much you can remember from this.
Thank you.